Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. I think normally I should have a presentation coming. I'm Agnès Robin. I work in the Commission in the DG Research and Innovation, and I'm head of sector for research and technology infrastructure policy. I just wanted to remind the context in which we are developing the policy on research infrastructure. So just very briefly, that we have the new European research areas that is complementing the European education area, and in particular a new era policy agenda, which means specific action to develop this European research area. I don't just want to be quick to remind the context. So we have a number of action, and here you can see 20 action. I've just highlighted several actions. So you are, I guess, familiar with action 13, which is on the research side, mirroring the work on higher education to empower higher education institution. But actually, there are many of these actions that are relevant and should involve university and the alliance of university and whatever. It's for example action 1 with which is dedicated on open sharing of knowledge and have specific activities dedicated to the open science cloud. So that's action related to all the legislation to share data, assessment, careers, and so on. And of course, there is one action purely dedicated to research infrastructure, which is action 8. So of course, just a few highlights on the action 13 to empower higher education. So you are involved, and this action is very much relevant to you, and the work of the European Universities Initiative is extremely important. And here you can see some of the activities and objectives of the islands that will directly feed the objective of action 13. So I want to be very quick on that. So joint strategies for education and research and innovation, as my colleague Tilne mentioned, challenge-based approach is essential, seamless mobility, and many other aspects. And in particular, one area which is, of course, important for the Commission is the sharing of resources and courses and infrastructures. And we can see that among the many European universities alliance, we can see that the sharing of infrastructure was a key component that has been considered as a priority by many of these alliance. So now focusing on research infrastructure. So as I said, we have one action dedicated to research infrastructure. The aim is to strengthen sustainability, accessibility, and resilience of research infrastructure in the European research area. And for that, we have foreseen a number of activities. One very important is a strategic analysis of the European research infrastructure landscape in Europe. And that has been a work that has been performed on a regular basis, side to side with the European Strategy for Research Infrastructure Road Mapping exercise, where we S3, the representative of the science ministers, are establishing a policy on research infrastructure and the priorities for the next 10, 15, 20 or 30 years. So that was this successive roadmaps that have been updated on a regular basis. And this was connected to in-depth analysis and of the landscape. So we intend to change, to improve the methodology, to in particular go more in depth in the interplay between the different level, local, national, regional, and European level. So that's the idea between this among this on this new methodology. There is also, of course, activity to improve the access to all in European research infrastructures and to their services. To monitor the European research infrastructure at the European level, I would like to mention also that we have a dedicated legal framework that facilitates the setting up and the operation of pan-European research infrastructure. That is the European Research Infrastructure Consortium legal framework. And currently we have 23 areas already established. So it's a legal framework that is maybe it's from which university can gain some best practice when establishing their own links to share infrastructure, but I will come back on this later. And also an activity dedicated to increase cooperation among research infrastructure, between research infrastructure and digital infrastructure, and also with the aim to involve much more stakeholders. And of course, the university islands are important stakeholders. So one key element is the research infrastructure landscape in Europe. So where we are now. So there have been in the last, let's say, 20 years, we have developed really a much more interconnected European landscape of research infrastructures. At pan-European level, we have this new or under development research infrastructure that has been prioritized in the context of the European Strategy Forum on Research Infrastructure and its roadmaps. So ESFRI can be seen as an incubator for new pan-European research infrastructures. And these infrastructures are very diverse. You can have digital infrastructure, you can have large single-sited infrastructure like big synchrotron or the big telescope. But the majority of research infrastructure actually are distributed or even very distributed research infrastructure, meaning that you have central governance, but the facilities themselves are spread among throughout Europe. So this initiative are developing the context of the ESFRI process. As I mentioned, to support the development of this new pan-European infrastructure, the Commission has developed a specific legal framework, so that at the end, it enables EU member states to have joint investment and to develop a pan-European infrastructure with its own legal entity, which is recognized in all EU member states and also in several associated countries. That's, let's say, the top of the iceberg. But this relies on many networks. We are supporting networks of national and European infrastructures, for which we support the development of, we try to open up access to this national infrastructure. We encourage common access program, and I think it's very important for alliance of university. Under, just to give an idea, under Horizon 2020, we have supported, I think it's more than 90 networks, and supporting the access of several tens of thousands of researchers accessing these different facilities all over Europe. So these networks rely on national facilities and labs. And often we realize that because we have a high number of distributed infrastructures, the national facilities, the national labs or labs in university are actually a key component of pan-European research infrastructure. So it's not national facilities on one side, networks, and pan-European infrastructure on the other side. All this landscape is quite well connected. And I made a quick search in the Horizon 2020 project dedicated to under the infrastructure program, and now the Horizon Europe all together. And I think more than 1/3 of the individual participation to this infrastructure project are actually universities, higher education participants. So it really shows that the university are a key component of this network already. So just here, it's a picture of the latest ESFRI roadmap. So you have more than 60 You have 63 research infrastructure flagged as a priority by A3. What we call project is those that are still developing, and what we call landmark is that those that are under implementation with a firm commitment from EU member states and associated countries. And a significant part of them are actually very much operational, providing access and services to the different scientific communities. And you can see that all different fields are covered, from energy to environmental and earth science, health and food, physical science, astronomy, engineering, social and cultural innovation, and also some digital research infrastructures for example, in high performance computing or e-brands and so on. So this policy and this development of European research infrastructure is supported under Horizon Europe. Like under Horizon 2020, the support to research infrastructure is under the first pillar, excellent science. So here is just a quick overview on which type of support. So there is a first block of activities dedicated to developing the landscape, and this is very much related to the S3 process and the development of these pan-European research infrastructures. A second block of activities, which is really opening access to research infrastructures, integrating and interconnecting them. So here we are speaking about not only the pan-European one, but also the national and institutional research infrastructures. We have also dedicated activities to support innovation for and through European research infrastructures, and also a fourth block of activities to support policy, like in particular A3, training activities and international cooperation. I would like now to move to the next slide. I'm trying to be quick. So here you have seen the overall context. So what are the key messages? As I said, universities are really key actors of the European research infrastructure landscape. So already, in a university are involved, are linked to research infrastructures. So of course as users, but they are hosting facilities, they are providing access, and they are already contributing to the development of research infrastructure in Europe. I've already mentioned that the participation in the specific infrastructure project under both Horizon Europe and Horizon 20 was extremely high. So that's a really important message, that your universities, your different departments, your labs are already strongly interacting with the development of pan-European infrastructure, with the activities at European level, with the development of policy and the visions that are currently developed at European level. As I said, the majority of the infrastructure identified by S3, and if I refer to those that are already established as a legal entity, as a ERIC at European level, are actually distributed research infrastructure. It means that they strongly relied to facilities that are already hosted by universities. So they are a key component. They also already are actors in the digital transformation of this infrastructure. We have many activities to develop remote access, to develop digital services, reuse of data, connection of pan-European research infrastructure, through thematic cluster of infrastructure, connection to the European Open Science Cloud. So there are many, many activities already ongoing. So within your universities, you already have a strong experience already in connecting to in sharing infrastructure, in developing digital services, in developing remote access, in using data, in connecting to EOSC. So that will be really important, that you don't start from scratch, you don't reinvent everything, but you build on this experience that is already there and is still developing. It's really a strong message. You are already very active. You are already developing many things. You are really already in the landscape. You just need to make sure that you build on that, you organize that in a maybe more structured way. And here the alliance will be key, but really gain on what is already existing. Another point, a message I would like to pass is that at the S3 level, but also in the context of the new European research area, the involvement of stakeholders will be much more important, much more structured. So it's an important opportunity to you as an alliance of university to be proactive in these different fora of where stakeholders are involved, and to raise awareness on what you have, what you can bring to the European landscape of research infrastructure, and what you should gain from the experience that is already ongoing at European level. So it's really important that it's not only very big things at European level or international level, but you are a key component with small, medium scale facilities. So it's important that you share these facilities among you, but it's also important that you are aware that you are a key component of the activities that are already ongoing at pan-European level. And also, it's important that you are aware that S3 now, in this landscape analysis, really is developing new methodology and really wants to better capture what is going on at institutional level, regional, national, and European level, and really make that the interplay between these different levels work better, and it's more better capture, and we can gain from that. So when you will work on the different aspects, for example, identifying needs, what are your specific requirements to share infrastructure, to share data, what are the needed tools, when you want to identify all legal and regulatory barriers, just keep in mind that these topics are already discussed by the different S3 infrastructure, in particular the distributed one, by the different already established European Research Infrastructure Consortia, or the ones that are under development now. We have, I think, at least 3 that are very soon to be established, and several more that are in the pipe. So this, and you are already connected to this development. So just be aware that this aspect of, in particular for distributed research infrastructure, identification of legal and regulatory barriers, all these aspects are already discussed, and it's important that you gain from this discussion and also contribute to this discussion. The same for open science, that there are S3 clusters of research infrastructure are developing, are contributing to the connection to the development of EOS, and are making sure that their data are fair, and you can gain from that, and you can contribute to that. So that were the key message I wanted to pass, that you already have the connection, you just need to make sure that you build on that, and that you will adapt this work that is already ongoing to your specific needs as alliance of universities. And with that, I think I've finished my presentation. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I'm really interested to the follow-up discussion. Thank you very much.